Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of SoTellUs Time. Good morning. Hope you guys, as usual, had a phenomenal start to the week. Your Monday was just kick butt. You guys got a bunch done, and now it's Tuesday. Maybe you can breathe just a little bit more on Tuesday. I know Tuesday's our meetings day, so it's a busy day for us. But it's like Monday, Tuesday. But you know what? I love it. It's like hit it hard Monday, get in there, meetings on Tuesday, focus on the business Wednesday, get things done Thursday. And then by Friday, it's like, well, Troy and I are usually leaving here about 7 or so anyways on Friday. So that really doesn't matter, but it does make it fun. The beginning of the week, it actually seems to go by fast. I mean, this whole freaking year, I don't know what all of you think, but this year for me, and I think for Troy, it flew by. It's crazy. I can't believe the year's already over. Some of you may be excited about that. Some of you may be like me and wish there was more months in this year so we could get more done this year. That's what I'd love to do, but that's okay. All right, we got a great episode for you guys today. And it goes right along with what I was just talking about. And we're talking about stress, managing stress like a pro, because business. Running a business is tough, but burnout doesn't have to be part of that journey. And for a lot of people, it is. Unfortunately, they just get burnt out. And so, you know what? I'm actually going to throw one tip in here, Troy, that I'm going to guess isn't in your outline. So I'm going to throw one tip in. One thing that we have really seen that helps out a lot is planning a vacation, planning a break. Now, maybe that is in your outline. I don't know. We'll see. I might have stole it from you, but I can tell you this: when you have that thing to look forward to, and Troy's always the one with all the great knowledge, so this one popped in my head. I'm just going to give it to you. But having that thing that you're looking forward to, in my opinion, helps you get through these long days and these stressful times, because you know the break is coming. You know that the, relief is coming, and that you're going to be able to just kind of sit back, relax, and enjoy a little bit of R&R. So that's my tip, right? So tip number 1 today: plan a trip. If you don't have one planned, get it planned. I'm jumping all the way to the homework right now. All right, let's get into the real meat and potatoes of today's episode. Go ahead, Troy.
All right, so we're going to be talking about why business owners experience chronic stress, how you can spot the warning signs before you reach burnout, 3 proven strategies to manage your stress more effectively, and those are going to be kind of the main things we're going to go over today. So let's talk about why are we especially prone to stress in our lives? And really, there's a couple of reasons. Number 1, constant responsibility, right? You're the final decision maker in the business. So pressure never really ends. The pressure is always on you. No matter how many employees you have, you make that final decision. So it comes back to you. So that pressure tends to fall on you. Also, financial uncertainty, right? You've got payroll, you've got cash flow, you've got growth targets that you're trying to keep in mind. And this keeps a lot of owners up at night worrying about the business. How am I going to do all of these different things? And another big one is work-life imbalance. Not balance, right? We all are supposed to have this work-life balance, but I would say a lot of times we're dealing with an imbalance in our lives. The lines blur between personal and professional life. I know this summer I had planned with my family a 2-week vacation to Hawaii, and I was so excited. And I think I worked 50 hours a week, both weeks while I was in Hawaii. It was, I was getting up at 4 a.m. Hawaii time so that I could get work done before my family got up, and working, 8-9 hours a day. And so it really wasn't that vacation that I was hoping for, because, again, work life, it gets mixed, and we let that happen as business owners. The other big thing is perfectionism and control, right? Feeling like no one can do it as well as I can leads to overload. And I know I am guilty of that all the time. I can get it done. It's gonna be faster for me to do it than it is for me to show my employee how to do it. Right. So that's a big one that hits me. Now, let's talk about some examples of this. And actually, kind of the example that came to mind was my mother-in-law. She has been a nurse and has had a great career as a nurse, and had done such an amazing job that the owner of the company that she worked for was like, hey, look, I want to start this other business, and I'd like you to be an owner in it with me. And she's like, absolutely, sounds great. And so she went from just employee in the one side of the business to an owner in the other side, in this other business. And I remember, one day she was just working like crazy. I think it was on a Saturday or a Sunday night. And I'm like, hey, how's it going? And she's like, oh my gosh. She's like, no one tells you when you're an employee or when you're thinking about starting a business that this is what it's going to be like. No one tells you that you're going to be working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. No one tells you that when one of your employees calls out sick, and now she's running a facility that's open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So she's like, no one tells you that when an employee calls out sick 1 hour before the night shift, that you have to drive to work and you've got to do the night shift, even though you worked all day long, on the business. And I'm like, nope, absolutely. And so the stress was definitely getting to her. And the thing is when we get stressed as business owners, what happens? We make mistakes. Now, I'm not going to talk about any mistakes my mother-in-law has made in her career because I'm not that dumb, right? And she's actually
and she might listen to this. She might listen.
Yeah.
In fact, I know she does.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do that. But we just need to remember that as if we get stressed out, we get burned out, we're gonna make mistakes, and those mistakes can not only hurt us, but they can hurt the business as well. So we need to make sure that we are not getting burned out and we're managing our stress, correctly. Okay, so let's talk about some of the warning signs. Number 1, look for physical signs: fatigue, headaches, poor sleep. I don't know about you, Trevor, but can you check any of those off on your?
No, I am totally stress-free. I don't even know what stress is. Never had a headache or not slept at night. I think Troy and I have a ritual, an annual or a daily ritual, right? A nightly ritual. We wake up around 2 to 4 a.m. and we can't go back to sleep because we've got too much to do and too much on our minds.
I know. I think I said to my wife the other day, I'm like, can you call it fatigue if it's all the time, or is that just your life at that point?
Yeah. So constants.
But those are the physical signs that you need to be looking for. If you are experiencing those and you are experiencing them a lot, there's probably stress going on in your life. Then there's the emotional signs, irritability, anxiety, or feeling numb. That's another one that sometimes we don't recognize, right? We notice when we're irritable or we have anxiety going on, but sometimes you just get to that numb stage where you're just feeling nothing. And that sometimes can be hard to recognize because, again, you're numb. You're just kind of going through the motions. So definitely look at those, and see if you're experiencing any of those in your life right now. And then there are behavioral signs. So are you micromanaging people? I feel like I'm doing that a lot lately, micromanaging my team, trying to make sure that nothing falls through the cracks and making sure that it's done. So that is a great sign. If you are having to jump into the business and you're having to micromanage and look at, and take care of things that normally you wouldn't be taking care of in the business, there's stress going on. That's why you're micromanaging, if you are procrastinating certain things in the business, stress. I can say that I have done that, where it's like, I just don't want to face whatever that project is. I procrastinate it because I'm too stressed, or here's one: constantly checking email. If you're constantly checking, it's an
easy one to check off the box. Okay. It's like, I get it. Listen, you're like, that's an easy one. Oh, I can reply to this email. Oh, I can, it's like, it's just an easy one to get done.
Yeah. But it's a good sign of stress too. Like if you're in a stress situation, if you're stressed in your business, you may be constantly checking your email, looking for like, okay, what's going wrong now? What's going wrong now? What do I need to manage? What is my team not doing? I got to check my emails and make sure they're on top of it. I feel like I can check a lot of these boxes. So, one thing you can do is keep a stress log for 1 week. Or 1 week. So note when triggers, or what triggers your stress, and then how you react to that stress. Really awareness is one of the first steps to being able to control it. So I think that's a great tip to, really kind of take that, and that might help you narrow down what is causing the stress. Because you may just feel totally stressed, but you're like, I don't even know what it is. The whole business is stressing me out, but it may actually be a part of the business, but you can't recognize it. So by doing that, stress log, you may be able to identify what it is in the business that's really causing that stress for you, if you're having a hard time narrowing that down. Okay. Now let's talk about how you can manage stress like a pro. So strategy number 1, control what you can, let go of what you can't.
Oh, we're hitting like AA rules here.
Seriously, we are. So this is called use the circle of control framework, right? You focus on what you can directly impact, what is inside of your circle that you can control, right? Mm-hmm. So some of the things that you can control are your time, your effort, and your attitude. So focus on those things, right? Controlling your time, making sure that you're giving the right amount of time to the business, but not too much time. Controlling your effort, right? And this is really important, because I know, like, when I get stressed, it's like, oh, I'm just gonna put in a ton of hours at work. But am I putting in the effort that I need, or am I like procrastinating stuff because I'm stressed? And then I'm just spending a lot of time at work, but not actually getting stuff done, right? Which just adds more stress on top of it, because now you're like, oh my gosh, I'm working 12-hour days, so now I'm stressed even more, but I didn't actually get a lot done in that 12 hours because I procrastinated work, right? And then your attitude towards it, right? Attitude has a lot to do with it. And then let go of what you can't control, right? So what are things we cannot control? We can't control the economy, right? And I've seen Trevor say this to clients, and, they kind of are like, oh, what? It almost like fries their brain for a second, because they'll be like, you know what? I can't tell you how many times we've heard people say like, well, yeah, but last year I didn't have to do that, or last year I spent less on marketing, or
well, it ain't last year anymore, people.
Yeah, I didn't have to market at all. And Trevor always says, well, guess what? Last year is not this year. And they're just like, but, and it's like, no, it's not the same, right? Mm-hmm. There are things that we cannot control as business owners. We can't control the economy. So we have to adjust and adapt according to the economy, right? We can't control market trends. What's going on out there, in the market right now. We can't control others' opinions, what they think. We can't control that, right? So we just have to focus on what we can control. So a good example of that is, there was one business owner who was stressing about foot traffic to their business, their small business, right? And they weren't getting enough foot traffic. And they're like, what is going on? What am I going to do? and they were really stressed about that. But instead of stressing about that, they decided, you know what? I need to focus on what I can, control, which is the other sides of my business. So they doubled down on local delivery and catering, which is something they could control, right? So they started growing their business where they could control it, and they focused less on where they couldn't, which was foot traffic. I can't control how many people walk in front of my business every day, but I can control, getting my business out there outside of my little area and getting more clients that way. So that's a really good example of your circle of control. Strategy number 2, build recovery into your schedule.
This really does feel like an AA meeting. Okay. It's like build recovery. It's like, I'm going to take, I'm pretty sure it's God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change and the courage to change the things that I can and the wisdom to know the difference between the two. And then now we're talking about recovery. Right? It's like the things I can change or control, right? The things I can control and the things I can't control. And then getting into recovery. Now, this probably makes sense, Troy. I'm sure that a lot of business owners are alcoholics.
Well, beyond that,
you know who I'm talking. I'm talking to you out there. I'm talking to you. I'm looking at you right here in the camera, buddy. I know it. You just
and I would say on top of that, I would say a lot of business owners are addicted to their business.
Oh man, they're freaking addicts.
Right?
Freaking addicts.
You're addicted to your business, right? And it takes up a lot of your life. So
it's probably better to be addicted to your business than to be addicted to alcohol or drugs. True. Oh, there you go.
Very good. All right. So we need to treat rest as a productivity tool, not a reward. And a lot of times we think of it as a reward, like, oh man, I'm going to get this done and then I'm going to get to take a break. I'm going to go on this vacation because I got this project completed, which is great. Setting those goals and those rewards is a good thing, but we also need to treat rest, because rest is different than a reward, right? This is a productivity tool. So here are some simple things that you could do, some simple practices. Number 1, a 10-minute walk between tasks. Getting up, walking around, going outside, getting in the sun, maybe. I do this, once or twice a day. I will just, get up between projects that I'm working on, and I will just go and I will walk around our building complex and get out in the sun and take a quick break, get some blood flowing. So that's really good. Like our developers, they get up and they'll go and throw a Frisbee around, for a 10-minute break. Because again, they're sitting in front of a computer all day, right? So it's a great way to get their mind going again, get that rest that they need, and then come back focused. So another thing you can do is deep breathing before meetings. So breathing actually has a huge benefit for your body. And I think a lot of times especially when we're stressed, we don't take big breaths, right? We're just like barely breathing at all because we're so stressed out.
Okay, well, I'm gonna give you, and here's how you do it. You take a big breath in through your nose, okay? It's all the way in through the nose, and then at the very end, when you think you can't take any more, take a little more snort, right? A little extra. Yep, that's what you do, and you fill those lungs so they burn a little, and then
you're talking about recovery, and then you said snort, and that just like totally made me go back to
and
the whole
every
AA
single drug addict immediately was like in a fit. They were like
they're like, that's how I get more done. I take a snort.
I take a snort. Well, that's probably true. They probably do until they, are stealing TVs from themselves to get more of their wonderful magic powder that helps them.
Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead. Again, teach them how to breathe.
Take it in, and then hold it, and then blow it out through your mouth nice and slow. So and if you do that at least 3 to 5 times, you will immediately you actually feel your body relaxing. It's actually a really good thing to do. So there you go. Do that.
Yep. I was actually reading a thing and they were talking about that with people in very stressful situations like special forces and stuff like that. And same thing, taking a second to do those deep breaths, even like snipers, when they're getting ready for a shot, deep breaths to calm their body down. So
Yeah,
that's a
listen,
great one.
if you think you're stressed at work, you're not a sniper.
Yeah, exactly.
John, I wouldn't want to have to. I appreciate and we love our military, right? Let's see.
Yes.
Love our military, love America, but support them, support the troops, lots of military in our family. But yeah, wouldn't want that job. Way too much stress.
All right. So another one is 1 day a week with no client work.
Yeah.
Right. So,
what did I say about
we've
my
talked about
Wednesdays?
taking those
Working on the business.
Yes, working on the business days. We've talked about that. But setting up that 1 day a week where you're not you're not focused on the client, you have employees do that or whatever, and then you focus on the business. So, pro tip here is schedule breaks just like you would a meeting. They're just as important as your meetings, having those breaks in there.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Strategy number 3. And we have a whole podcast about this. So go back and listen to it. Even if you've already listened to it before, listen to it again. Delegate and automate. You need to use the eliminate, automate, and delegate framework in your business, right? So you need to eliminate, basically stop doing what doesn't move the needle. You need to automate, use systems, right? Like AI scheduling tools, automated messaging, automated review capture, all of those things. Use those systems to free up your time and relieve stress from you, your business, and your employees. And then you need to delegate. You need to empower your team, right? Even if they do it even if they do it 80% as well as you do, they're getting it done so that you can work on other things, right?
And I will tell you, this is a big hang up for people. It is. It's a big hang up to release control. But I can tell you, and Troy, he will affirm this. Our employees, when you have the right employee doing the right job, they will do a better job. Meaning, now look at, again, because I say all the time, I hire people smarter than me. I just hire people smarter than I am, right? And so they should be able to do a better job. And I can tell you this, where I give deals and discounts and feel bad for people and sorrow and this and that and everything. It's business to them. It's a job. It's their job. Their job is to talk to this person about this. Like, let's just say, it's their job to sell them something. It's their job to provide a great service to them or whatever. So they just do it. And so when there's cost behind it or when whatever there is, they just do it. And so often our employees end up doing a better job than we would. Helps the business.
All right. So just kind of recap that. You need to recognize your stress triggers. What's causing the stress? Focus on what's in your control, build recovery into your routine, and delegate and automate to lighten your load. All right, Trevor, that's everything I've got. Is there anything you want to add?
Awesome. No, we're going to finish under 25 minutes. We're at 23 right now. All right, people. Here we go. Challenge of the week. Try one new stress management habit this week, whether it's the 10-minute walk, delegating some of your tasks, or a digital detox day, which I really like that one, actually. A digital detox day. That could be like, get away from the phone, right? Which was kind of what I was talking about. The vacation. Don't do what Troy did. I'm going to Hawaii with my wife for my anniversary. 22 years. Thank you. Yes, 22 years.
Congrats.
And my birthday. So we're going to kind of do a double combination here. I'm going to be gone for, I thought it was 12. I think it's actually only 11. Super disappointing. Missing out on a whole day. It's really 10, but then we get home on the 11th day because it's overnight flight. It's a little disappointing. I'm kind of sad. But I'm gonna have a digital detox day, man. I'm gonna stay away. I'm gonna get multiple digital detox days where I'm away from my phone, I'm away from my computer, and I just, relax. Because if I don't get to relax, then I'm gonna come home and I'm probably gonna go postal. I'm gonna have to go work for the government, I guess. Because I'm just gonna go postal on everybody. So All right, that's the goal this week, people. Implement something. In fact, if all you do is the breath work this week, do it a couple of times this week, and I guarantee you, you're going to take those breaths. You're going to feel good. You're going to feel better. You're going to feel stress releasing, and it's important. Troy and I have been doing this business for 27 years. We have lots and lots of friends who have made, multi-million dollar companies, $100 million companies and above. And there is a common theme that happens often, that around the age of 50, entrepreneurs die. They have a heart attack. We've known many people, they have an aneurysm or a heart attack and whatever. It's stress. Stress is a killer. So you think, hey, is this one really business related, Mr. SoTellUs Times? Yes, because if you want to stay in business and stay alive, you're going to learn to reduce the stress in your life. Okay, so this is a very important one. I should have started the episode with that.
Yeah.
If you want to stay alive, listen to this episode, people. All right, everybody. We love you. We appreciate you. And thank you so much for spending your Tuesday mornings with us. We really, really do appreciate it. We're on YouTube. We're on Instagram, social media. We are on every podcast channel out there. You can find us. Search for SoTellUs Time. If you don't see it at that, just SoTellUs, and you will find us. And we will check you guys out on the next episode. Hope you have a great rest of your week, by the way. Stay motivated. Take your breaths. Take your walks. Plan your trip. Even if it's months out, by the way. It really is amazing how that helps. All right, everybody. Love you. Appreciate you. And we will check you on the next episode of SoTellUs Time.